My beloved child, I see you today, yes, you, sitting there with a heart heavy with doubt and uncertainty. I know the weight you carry, the mountains that seem too high to climb, the oceans too vast to cross. I feel your exhaustion as you struggle against what seems impossible. Those moments when you whisper to yourself, "I can't do this anymore." I hear every word. The challenges before you may seem insurmountable. That dream that feels forever out of reach. The healing that hasn't come. The relationship that remains broken. The financial burden that grows heavier each day. The path forward that remains shrouded in fog. I see it all, and I understand why you sometimes feel that life has placed before you the impossible. Take a deep breath now, and know that I am reaching out to you in this very moment. Feel my presence wash over you as I tell you this truth. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible with me by your side. I created the universe with its countless stars. I set the planets in motion and painted the skies with colors at dawn and dusk. I designed the intricate details of every snowflake and orchestrated the rhythm of every heartbeat. And yet, nothing matters more to me than your journey and the obstacles you face today. When you look at your problems and see only impossibility, I look at you and see unlimited potential. Where you see dead ends, I see doorways. Where you see failure, I see opportunity for growth. Where you see weakness, I see the perfect canvas for my strength to be displayed. I understand those nights when you lie awake, your mind racing with worries, wondering how you will ever overcome the challenges before you. I've watched as you've tried everything within your power, exhausted every option, knocked on every door only to find them locked. The weight of impossibility can be crushing, leaving you breathless and hopeless. But listen carefully to what I'm telling you now. Impossibility is merely an illusion. It exists only in the absence of faith. When you align your heart with mine, when you place your hand in mine, the impossible begins to crumble. Remember those moments in your past when you faced what seemed impossible then too. Look back at the mountains you've already climbed, the storms you've already weathered. You thought you wouldn't survive, yet here you are. That wasn't your strength alone. It was mine working through you, even when you didn't recognize it. I've never left your side, even in those darkest hours when you felt completely alone. When the weight of your burdens drove you to your knees, I was there, supporting you, though you may not have felt my presence. Not a single tear has fallen from your eyes that I haven't seen and collected. Not a single silent cry of your heart has gone unheard. Your struggles aren't punishment. They aren't signs of my absence or indifference. They are opportunities for transformation, for growth, for discovering strengths within you that you never knew existed, strengths I placed there from the beginning. The impossible situations you face today are not meant to defeat you. They are meant to reveal to you who you truly are, my beloved child, capable of far more than you realize. These challenges aren't walls, they're gateways to deeper faith, greater wisdom, and more profound purpose. When your resources are depleted, mine are limitless. When your strength fails, mine is just beginning. When your wisdom reaches its end, mine continues beyond human understanding. Everything that makes your situation seem impossible is subject to my power and my love for you. I know you've been waiting. Waiting for circumstances to change. Waiting for help to arrive. Waiting for a miracle that seems to never come. The waiting itself can feel like an impossible burden to bear. But know this, even in the waiting I am working. In ways you cannot see and might not understand, I am aligning circumstances, preparing hearts, moving mountains one grain of sand at a time. Your timeline and mine may differ. Where you seek immediate relief, I see the value in the journey. Where you want instant resolution, I understand how the process itself is transforming you. Trust my timing, for it is perfect, even when it seems painfully slow to your earthly understanding. I want you to begin seeing your impossible situation through my eyes. Where human logic ends, supernatural possibility begins. The very definition of impossible changes when I enter the equation. Think for a moment about what you're facing right now, that situation that brought heaviness to your heart as you began listening to these words. Now imagine me standing beside you, my hand on your shoulder, my wisdom available to guide you, my power ready to work through you. Does it seem quite so impossible now? You weren't meant to carry these burdens alone. The impossible becomes possible when you stop trying to face it with just your own strength and resources. Open your hands and release these burdens to me. Let me show you possibilities you haven't considered, solutions beyond human reasoning, strength that defies natural explanation. Sometimes the path through the impossible isn't a dramatic parting of the waters, but the courage to take one more step when every fiber of your being wants to give up. It's the determination to keep believing when doubt feels more reasonable. It's the decision to trust when fear screams otherwise. I see the questions in your heart. Why this challenge? Why me? Why now? I understand these questions, and I don't dismiss them. But remember that your perspective is limited to this moment, while I see the complete tapestry of your life, past, present, and future interwoven. What seems senseless from your vantage point has purpose in the greater design. You've felt abandoned in your impossible situation, wondering where I am, why I haven't intervened. Let me assure you, I have never left you, not for a moment. Sometimes my greatest work happens in what feels like my absence. The seeds of miracles take root in the dark soil of impossibility. I'm inviting you now to shift your focus. Instead of fixating on how impossible your situation appears, turn your eyes to me, the maker of heaven and earth, the one who calls stars by name, the one who breathed life into your very being. Nothing is too difficult for me. No problem too complex, no need too great, no situation too far gone. The very thing that seems impossible to you is an opportunity for my power to be displayed. When human ability ends, my divine capability begins. What would be impossible for you alone becomes entirely possible when I am involved. Remember this truth: the measure of a challenge is not whether it appears possible or impossible to you, but whether you're facing it alone or with me. With me, the concept of impossible disappears entirely. As we move forward together, I want you to hold these words in your heart. The impossible situations you face are not the end of your story, they're often just the beginning of your miracle. What seems like an insurmountable obstacle today may become your greatest testimony tomorrow. Take courage, my child. Nothing is impossible with me. The very challenges that seem beyond human solution are opportunities for divine intervention. Where your path seems blocked, I am already preparing a way forward. Where your resources have run dry, my abundance awaits. Where your strength has failed, my power is perfected. Your impossible situation is about to become the birthplace of your greatest miracle. Take my hand now, and let's face it together. My precious one, now that you understand that I see your struggles, let me reveal to you the power that lies within your reach. The power of faith that transforms the impossible into the possible. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. This is the supernatural force that moves mountains and parts seas. When you stand before your impossible situation, remember that your limitations are not my limitations. Where human strength ends, my divine power begins. I am not bound by what seems logical or reasonable in the natural world. The very laws of nature respond to my voice, the same voice that speaks hope over your circumstances today. Faith is the bridge between your impossible and my possible. It's the confident expectation that I am who I say I am and that I will do what I've promised. Faith doesn't deny the reality of your mountains, it simply transfers those mountains into my capable hands. Through the eyes of faith, impossibilities become divine opportunities. Think about the things you once thought impossible in your life that have already come to pass. Remember those moments when you couldn't see a way forward, yet somehow, a path appeared. That was not coincidence or luck, that was my hand at work, making a way where there seemed to be no way. I have been faithful to you in the past, and I will be faithful to you now and in the future. When doubt whispers that your situation is beyond hope, when fear tells you that this time is different, when logic insists that something simply cannot change, these are the moments to remember who I am. I am the God of the impossible. I specialize in situations that have no human solution. I delight in proving that nothing is too difficult for me. The impossible before you now, that financial breakthrough, that restoration of health, that mending of relationships, that open door of opportunity, is not meant to defeat you. It's meant to bring you to the end of yourself so that you can experience the beginning of my supernatural intervention. When your strength is depleted, you're positioned to witness my strength at work. I want you to understand something profound. The impossible situations in your life are often my invitations to experience me in ways you never would have otherwise. When everything is comfortable and predictable, you rarely see the full extent of my power. It's in facing the impossible that you discover the depth of my love and the breadth of my capabilities. What seems like a barrier is actually a backdrop for my glory to be displayed. What feels like abandonment is actually my preparation for abundance. What appears to be a dead end is actually my divine detour to something better than you had planned. I am always working, even when you cannot see it or feel it. Especially then. Look at your hands for a moment. They may seem ordinary to you, but when placed in mine, they become instruments of the impossible. The dreams in your heart that seem too big, the prayers that seem unanswered, the hope that seems lost, I place those within you for a reason. And what I start, I always finish. What I promise, I always fulfill. My words never return void. I know there are times when you've prayed and not seen results. Times when you've believed and been disappointed. Times when you've trusted and felt let down. These moments have caused you to question whether I truly care, whether I'm truly listening. Let me assure you, I have heard every prayer. I have seen every tear. I have felt every disappointment alongside you. Sometimes my answers come in ways you don't expect. Sometimes my timing differs from yours. Sometimes the journey through the impossible takes longer than you anticipated. But my silence is never absence, and my delays are never denials. I am orchestrating circumstances, aligning hearts, and preparing pathways, all while holding you securely in my love. The impossible becomes possible when you understand that you were never meant to face it alone. I created you for partnership with me. When you align your heart with mine, when you surrender your plans to my greater purpose, when you exchange your limited perspective for my eternal vision, this is when miracles begin to unfold. Remember that faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. You don't need perfect faith, just genuine faith. Faith that perseveres when circumstances haven't changed. Faith that continues to praise when the answer isn't yet visible. Faith that keeps seeking when the door hasn't yet opened. This kind of faith is what transforms impossibilities into testimonies. I want you to recognize that sometimes the greatest miracles begin with the smallest steps of obedience. What seems insignificant to you might be the very key that unlocks your impossible situation. That word of forgiveness you've been hesitating to speak. That act of generosity you've been reluctant to offer. That first step toward reconciliation you've been afraid to take. These small acts of faithfulness often precede the greatest breakthroughs. When you're tempted to look at how impossible your situation appears, I invite you instead to look at how powerful I am. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. My resources are unlimited. My wisdom is unsearchable. My love for you is unfailing. And my commitment to you is unwavering. The impossible is my specialty. It always has been. Throughout time, I have delighted in doing what others deemed impossible. Creating light with a word. Forming life from dust. Bringing forth water from rock. Providing manna in barren wilderness. Making a way through impassable seas. And most profoundly, conquering death itself. Your impossible situation is not beyond my reach. When you feel overwhelmed by what you're facing, remember that I've equipped you with everything you need for this journey. My strength is available to you. My peace is offered to you. My wisdom is accessible to you. My comfort surrounds you. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. The battle may be fierce, but the outcome is certain when I am involved. I see the weariness in your spirit from facing this impossible situation for so long. The constant strain has taken its toll on your body, your mind, and your emotions. You've grown tired of explaining to others why you still have hope. You've become exhausted from trying to maintain faith when evidence seems contrary. I understand this fatigue, and I invite you to rest in me while I work on your behalf. There is supernatural strength available to you that transcends human endurance. When you feel you cannot take another step, my strength will carry you. When you feel you cannot pray another prayer, my spirit will intercede for you. When you feel you cannot hold on to hope any longer, my faithfulness will sustain you. You are never as alone or as powerless as you feel in your weakest moments. The testimony that awaits on the other side of this impossible situation will impact not only your life but the lives of countless others. Your journey through the impossible is creating in you a depth of character and a breadth of compassion that will become a lifeline for someone else facing their own impossible situation. What you're enduring now is preparation for purpose beyond what you can currently imagine. I want you to begin speaking to your impossible situation with authority. Not with bravado or empty words, but with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who I am and knowing whose you are. Speak life where there has been death. Speak hope where there has been despair. Speak peace where there has been turmoil. Speak abundance where there has been lack. Your words, aligned with my truth, carry creative power. Faith that transforms the impossible doesn't ignore reality. It simply refuses to give reality the final word. It acknowledges the mountain while speaking to the mountain. It recognizes the storm while trusting the storm calmer. It feels the pain while believing the healer. This kind of faith honors me because it declares that my character and my promises are more reliable than temporary circumstances. As we continue this journey together, I want you to notice the small miracles that are already unfolding around you. The subtle shifts in circumstance. The unexpected provisions. The surprising open doors. The renewed strength when you thought you had nothing left to give. These are not coincidences. They are my fingerprints on your story, evidence that I am actively working in what seems impossible. The impossible becomes possible when you realize that the outcome doesn't depend solely on your efforts, your wisdom, or your resources. It depends on me, the one who has never failed, never faltered, and never forgotten a promise. My track record of faithfulness stretches back before time began and extends forward into eternity. And right in the middle of that unbroken chain of faithfulness is your name and your need. Take courage, beloved one. The impossible before you is about to become the platform for my glory to be displayed. What has resisted human solution is about to yield to divine intervention. What has remained unmoved by your strength is about to respond to my power. What has seemed hopelessly broken is about to experience supernatural restoration. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible with me. This is not just a comforting phrase. It is the unshakable truth upon which you can stake your life. The impossible is where I do my best work. It's where faith grows deepest. It's where transformation happens most profoundly. And it's where my children discover who I truly am. Your impossible is my invitation. Your end is my beginning. Your weakness is my opportunity. Your faith, even faith as small as a mustard seed, is the key that unlocks divine possibility in the face of human impossibility. Take my hand now. Let's walk toward your impossible together. Watch what happens when my power meets your faith. My precious child, now it's time to embrace the unlimited future I have prepared for you. The journey through impossibility has not been in vain. Every tear, every struggle, every moment of doubt has been preparing you for this moment of stepping into a new realm of possibilities. The limitations that once defined your horizons are falling away, revealing vast landscapes of opportunity I've always seen for you. Today, I invite you to expand your vision, to look beyond what your eyes can see and what your mind can comprehend. The dreams I've placed in your heart, those desires that seem too grand, too ambitious, too impossible, I placed them there for a reason. They are not random wishes or fleeting fantasies. They are glimpses of the future I've designed for you, seeds of purpose I've planted within your soul. It's time to dream bigger than you've ever allowed yourself to dream before. The impossible dreams are often the ones most aligned with my purpose for your life. When a dream intimidates you, when it requires more than what you possess, when it benefits many beyond yourself, this is often my divine fingerprint. These God-sized dreams ensure that when they come to pass, there will be no doubt about whose power accomplished them. I want you to understand something crucial. The impossible is not your enemy, it's your opportunity. Each impossible situation you face is an invitation to experience my power in ways you never would have otherwise. The Red Sea had to be impassable before it could be parted. The tomb had to be sealed before resurrection could be revealed. The diagnosis had to be terminal before supernatural healing could be displayed. Your impossibility is the perfect setting for my possibility. From this day forward, I want you to approach life with a new mindset. Nothing is impossible. Not just as a comforting thought or a motivational phrase, but as the fundamental reality of your existence. When you truly grasp that I am limitless and that my power flows through you, everything changes. Problems become opportunities. Obstacles become stepping stones. Dead ends become divine detours. Begin to speak differently about your circumstances. Your words have creative power when they align with mine. Instead of reinforcing the impossibility of your situation with negative declarations, begin to declare what I say about it. Speak life. Speak hope. Speak possibility. Speak as though the outcome is already determined, because in my reality it is. I've already seen your breakthrough. I've already witnessed your victory. I'm already celebrating your testimony. Look at your hands for a moment. These are the hands I formed before you were born. Through these hands, impossibilities will crumble. Through these hands, healing will flow. Through these hands, generosity will transform lives. Through these hands, creativity will flourish. Through these hands, my love will be demonstrated. Never underestimate what I can do through you when you surrender these hands to my purpose. The areas where you feel most inadequate, most overwhelmed, most incapable, these are precisely the areas where my strength will be most profoundly displayed. Your weakness is not a barrier to my power, it's an invitation for my power. When you come to the end of yourself, you find the beginning of me. When your resources are depleted, you position yourself to witness my abundance. When your wisdom reaches its limit, you create space for my wisdom that surpasses understanding. I want you to take specific steps toward your impossible dreams starting today. Don't wait until circumstances align perfectly. Don't wait until you feel completely ready. Don't wait until all doubt is gone. Step out in faith, taking whatever small action you can take today. Write the first page. Make the first call. Extend forgiveness. Invest the first dollar. Apply for the position. Share your vision. Plant the seed. These seemingly small steps activate my supernatural provision. Remember that my timing rarely matches human expectation. What seems like a delay is often divine preparation. I'm aligning circumstances, preparing hearts, removing obstacles, and establishing foundations, all to ensure that when your breakthrough comes, it will be sustainable, not just momentary. Trust the process even when progress seems imperceptible. The greatest miracles often have the longest incubation periods. I want you to recognize the people I've strategically placed in your life to help you walk into your impossible future. No one achieves the impossible alone. Look around you. Who has been consistently supportive? Who speaks truth with love? Who challenges you to grow? Who believes in your vision even when you doubt? These are my provision for your journey, treasures disguised as relationships. Honor them, learn from them, and walk alongside them. As you move forward, there will be resistance. Doubt will whisper that you're being foolish. Fear will suggest that failure is inevitable. Logic will insist that some things are simply impossible. Others may discourage you, questioning your sanity or your faith. These voices are to be expected on any journey toward the impossible becoming possible. Acknowledge them, but don't give them authority. Their loudness doesn't equate to their legitimacy. When obstacles arise, and they will, remember that obstacles are not stop signs. They are simply indications that you need to adjust your approach. Be flexible in your methods but unwavering in your vision. The destination remains the same even when the route changes. Sometimes what appears to be resistance is actually my redirection toward a better path than the one you had planned. I want you to embrace a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. When you focus on what you lack, time, money, connections, education, experience, you limit what I can do through you. But when you focus on my unlimited resources, my wisdom, my provision, my favor, my timing, you position yourself to receive supernatural support. The God of the impossible is not constrained by human limitations. Look at your past differently now. Those failures that have haunted you, they were education, not disqualification. Those delays that frustrated you? They were protection, not punishment. Those closed doors that disappointed you? They were direction, not rejection. Everything you've experienced has been preparing you for this moment. The moment when you finally believe that with me, nothing is impossible. As you step into this unlimited future, be prepared for divine acceleration. What seemed like it would take decades may unfold in years. What seemed like it would require years may manifest in months. When my supernatural power combines with your consistent faith and obedience, time compresses, and impossibilities surrender quickly. Be ready for momentum that will take your breath away. I want you to practice gratitude before you see the full manifestation of your breakthrough. Thank me for what I'm doing behind the scenes. Thank me for the wisdom you're gaining through the process. Thank me for the character being formed in the waiting. Thank me for the testimony that is being written. Gratitude positions your heart to recognize miracles when they appear, even when they don't look exactly as you expected. Release your grip on how your breakthrough must come. My solutions often arrive in packages we wouldn't have chosen or even recognized. Be open to unexpected answers, unlikely allies, unconventional methods, and unanticipated timing. Many missed their miracle simply because it didn't match their mental image of how impossibility would transform into possibility. As you embrace this unlimited future, remember that my purpose for your life extends far beyond your personal comfort or success. The impossibilities you overcome become beacons of hope for others still trapped in their own impossible situations. Your testimony becomes someone else's lifeline. Your breakthrough becomes someone else's proof that nothing is impossible with me. Live generously with the victories I give you, sharing hope freely with those still waiting for theirs. I want you to establish new habits that reinforce your faith in the impossible becoming possible. Start each day declaring my promises over your life. Visualize your breakthrough as though it has already happened. Surround yourself with reminders of past victories. Create an environment that nurtures faith rather than feeds doubt. Be intentional about the voices you listen to and the images you allow into your mind. Faith is cultivated through consistent, deliberate choices. You will face moments of discouragement on this journey. Times when progress seems slow or non-existent. Times when new impossibilities arise just as others are resolved. In these moments, don't measure distance by looking at how far you still need to go. Measure it by acknowledging how far you've already come. Every step of faith, no matter how small, is moving you toward your breakthrough. Remember that transformation rarely happens in an instant. The impossible usually becomes possible through a process, not a single moment. The butterfly emerges only after the caterpillar endures the darkness of the cocoon. The oak stands tall only after the acorn breaks apart underground. The diamond shines only after coal endures immense pressure. Your impossible situation is not just a problem to be solved, it's the cocoon from which your new life is emerging. I am doing a new thing in your life right now. Can you perceive it? Even as you hear these words, shifts are occurring in the spiritual realm. Chains of impossibility are breaking. Resources are being directed toward you. Hearts are being softened. Doors are swinging open. The very atmosphere around your situation is changing because heaven is responding to your faith. What was impossible moments ago is already becoming possible. Let me speak directly to that specific impossibility you've been carrying, the one that came to mind when you began listening to these words. I declare over it now, walls are crumbling. Seas are parting. Stone is rolling away. Dry bones are coming to life. What human wisdom has declared terminal, I declare renewable. What human calculation has deemed insufficient, I declare abundant. What human prognosis has pronounced hopeless, I declare redeemable. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible with me. As we conclude this journey together, I want to leave you with this assurance. I am not finished yet. Your story doesn't end with this impossible situation. In fact, this chapter of impossibility is setting the stage for the most extraordinary chapters yet to be written. The depth of your current challenge is merely preparation for the height of your coming victory. The intensity of today's battle indicates the significance of tomorrow's breakthrough. My beloved child, step forward now with confidence. Not confidence in your own abilities, but confidence in who I am and what I can do through a heart fully surrendered to me. Walk with your head held high, not in arrogance but in the quiet assurance that the God of the impossible walks beside you, before you, behind you, and within you. Nothing is impossible. Not just for some, but for you. Not just occasionally, but consistently. Not just in ancient stories, but in your life today. Not just in minor matters, but in your greatest challenges. Not just until you face your next impossibility, but forever. Take my hand. The impossible is about to surrender to our touch.